The movie begins somewhere in Italy, with a family heading to their vacation cabin late at night. Upon their arrival, the parents get out of the car to check out the cabin, while their son remains inside. In the next scene, we meet an American family consisting of parents Louise and Ben Dalton, and their preteen daughter Agnes. They are currently vacationing in Italy and having the time of their lives. During this, a British man named Paddy approaches Ben and asks if anyone is using the chair beside him. In the afternoon, Agnes realizes that she has lost Hoppy, and begins to panic since it's her emotional support toy. As a result, Ben is annoyed when asked to find it for her. Shortly after, the Daltons run into Paddy, who turns out to have found Hoppy earlier at the pool. Paddy also introduces them to his wife, Sierra, and their son, Ant. Paddy and Sierra appear to be very friendly, but Ant is mute and socially awkward. Following this, the two families have lunch together at a nearby restaurant. Ben explains how they recently moved to London for a potential job, while Louise had to give up her career to be here. In turn, Paddy reveals that he's a doctor who has recently retired from practice. He also discusses Ant, claiming he has congenital aglossa, which means he has a smaller tongue than others, making it difficult for him to communicate. Here, Louise also reveals that she's a vegetarian. The scene then cuts to the evening, where they all eat dinner together and toast their new friendship. The next day, the Dalton family has to end their vacation and return to London. Days later, Ben sadly informs his wife that he didn't get the job, which frustrates the couple. They then read a postcard from Paddy, who has invited the family to their farmhouse in Devon for a vacation. Ben suggests they should go, as it would be a change of scenery, and Louise agrees. The next day, the family travels to the farmhouse, which is far from the city, and in a remote area. After driving all day, they finally arrive at the location. They are then warmly greeted by Paddy and Sierra, and taken inside. Agnes approaches Ant to greet him, but the boy appears to be estranged and doesn't even acknowledge her, so Sierra says that he's just a little shy. Later, everyone gathers for dinner, and Paddy presents a blood orange goose from their farm that he prepared for the guests. Paddy offers the first bite to Louise, completely ignoring the fact that she had mentioned back at the retreat that she's vegetarian. She eats it, and pretends to like it, but throws it away when no one is looking. After eating, Ben goes outside to dispose of the trash when Ant shows up. He's trying to say something, but his struggle to speak frustrates Ben, and they are soon interrupted by Paddy. Afterward, Louise and Ben go to their room, and the wife still feels uneasy about having eaten meat during dinner. They then notice some dried blood stains on the bed, so Ben tells his wife to get used to this environment because they are in the country. Louise also wonders why a doctor like Paddy lives in such a small farmhouse, but Ben responds that this isn't America, and that perhaps people here are different. The following day, both families go on a hike in the nearby woods. After walking for a while, Agnes notices a swing set and wants to play, but Ant comes in her way. Louise then asks Ant to move so Agnes can have a swing, but he doesn't listen to her. And then this happens. The other couple becomes surprised and asks Paddy to go easy on Ant. Upon returning to the farmhouse, Louise feels very uneasy, and tells Ben that she doesn't feel right and wants to leave. Just then, Sierra shows up and invites them out to dinner at a nearby restaurant. She reveals that there's a chef named Mike who makes authentic and fresh dishes. After she leaves, Ben comments on the pleasant hospitality of these people, and asks Louise not to be too suspicious. However, in the evening, Ben and Louise are surprised to learn that the dinner is only for adults. It turns out that Paddy has hired a Syrian friend to babysit the children. Louise is hesitant to trust the man, but Paddy assures her that he's very trustworthy. This guy escaped from the war in Syria, and used to be a teacher back home. Shortly after, both couples arrive at a beautiful restaurant, and the Daltons are informed that they are the only guests for the night. The chef Mike then shares the menu, which includes locally sourced foods and mushrooms he personally hunted in the forest. Meanwhile, the kids are playing hide and seek with the babysitter when Ant takes Agnes to his father's room. He opens a drawer to reveal a collection of watches, and takes out a watch with a Danish inscription on the back, but Agnes is unable to understand him. Back at the dinner, Patty and Sierra inform the other couple that they have been together for 17 years, and they still make love every day. Hearing this, the Daltons are shocked, and Louise mentions that Ben's lucky if he gets it once a month. Displaying a lack of common sense, Sierra starts flirting with Patty right away in front of the couple, which makes the situation very awkward. To add, at the end of the night, Patty and Sierra quickly leave, getting into their car and leaving Ben and Louise with the bill. Later at home, Agnes is sleeping when Ant unexpectedly shows her the bruises on his body. But before they can interact more, their mothers show up, so both kids quickly pretend to be asleep. Later on, Louise suddenly awakens and goes to check on her daughter, but she doesn't find either Ant or Agnes in their room, which worries her. She tries to check at Patty and Sierra's room, and is surprised to find the kids sleeping with the couple, who are both semi-naked. This weirds her out, so she quickly takes her daughter back. Louise awakens her husband and tells him everything. By this point, the couple has had enough, and decides to leave immediately before the others wake up. But as they are reaching a bit further, the girl realizes that she has forgotten Hoppy back at the farmhouse, and begins to panic. Ben informs her that she's almost 12, and should not rely on a stuffed toy. However, Agnes refuses to calm down, and soon begins to scratch herself. This leaves the family with no choice, but to drive back to the farmhouse. When they arrive, they discover Patty and Sierra have already awoken. The couple seems upset that they tried to leave without saying goodbye. Finally, Louise reveals that she felt very uncomfortable when she saw Agnes sleeping in their room last night. Sierra apologizes, and says that she has protective instincts, because they once had a daughter whom they lost. Sierra admits that she heard Agnes crying last night and, since Louise didn't come, she brought the girl to bed with her. Hearing this, the Daltons feel terrible, and because Agnes insists they can't leave yet, the family decides to stay a bit longer. In the afternoon, the kids are busy painting some toys in the garden. Ant then writes a message, and shows it to Agnes, but she doesn't understand a word. Just then, their mothers approach, so he quickly swallows the paper. Agnes later tells her mom about the note written by Ant. She claims that there's something wrong with the boy, but Louise dismisses her concerns and assures her that he is probably fine. Later, everyone gathers for lunch, and after eating, the kids proceed to show the dance they have been practicing. They excitedly begin performing, but Patty keeps criticizing Ant, and asks him to do better. Unfortunately, even after the boys' best efforts, Patty is not satisfied.
No! Patty! It's alright.
Patty acts furiously, causing Ant to burst into tears. This incident really shakes Louise, and she tells Ben that she wants to leave right away. However, he responds that they're both a little drunk at the moment and asks her to wait. Later, Patty is napping in his room when Ant quietly enters, and steals some keys from his pocket. He then takes Agnes and proceeds to a nearby barn. The boy opens the barn door with the keys and leads her inside, where there's a door leading to the basement. The place is filled with luggage, and personal possessions belonging to people. Ant then pulls out an album, and shows Agnes pictures of different families taken with Patty and Sierra. Agnes notices that in each picture, the couple has a different child, who appears unhappy. In a shocking twist, Ant shows her a photo of his real family, in which he is smiling with his tongue out. Using hand gestures, he informs Agnes that these people cut his tongue. He also takes a photo of Agnes' family and informs her that she is next. Scared, Agnes uses her phone to take pictures of the album. After that, the kids head outside quietly without anyone noticing. Ant then goes to Patty's room, and is shocked to see that he's woken up. He's afraid that he will be caught, but Patty asks the boy to show some love. Patty also gives him a piggyback, and he secretly slips the keys back into the man's pocket. Meanwhile, Agnes deliberately injures herself with a stick, and approaches the adults, saying she got her first period. Louise then takes her to the bathroom, where Agnes shows her the pictures she took earlier. Upon seeing them, Louise freaks out, and immediately heads outside. She then invites Ben as well, saying their daughter needs him for emotional support. When he arrives, Agnes shows him the pictures, and he's horrified as well. After this, the three decide that they need to act completely normal and not freak out. Agnes then discovers a box cutter, which she keeps to defend herself. Here the family decides to use Agnes' period as an excuse and leave the house right away. Next, the three exit the bathroom, and Louise mentions that Agnes is anxious about her period and wishes to go home. Surprisingly, the other couple agrees and allows them to leave. But when the Daltons pack their belongings and head outside, they notice that their car tires have been slashed. Ben suggests calling in a mechanic, but Patty insists there's no need, and claims he can fix it himself. After a while, the car is fixed, and Patty asks Agnes if she's forgetting something. The little girl looks up at the rooftop, and notices that her Hoppy is there. Ben uses a ladder to retrieve it, but when he brings the stuffed toy back, they find Hoppy is completely torn apart. However, Agnes doesn't care at this point and just wants to leave. The two families then say their goodbyes, and the Daltons proceed to leave in their car. As they drive away, Agnes is worried about Ant, but her mother assures her that they will get him help once they leave. And then all of a sudden,
Dad, stop! It's raining in the lake!
Patty suddenly throws Ant into a pond, and the boy begins to struggle as he can't swim. This worries Ben and he jumps out to rescue him. He manages to save the boy, but unfortunately, Patty is now holding his family at gunpoint. Following this, Patty takes the Daltons to a shed, and forces them to transfer all of their savings to his account. When Ben asks why they are doing this, Patty responds that it is because they allowed it to happen. He then prepares to inject Agnes with a sedative, before they can cut her tongue as well. Louise begs Sierra to stop him, but Patty points out that she was the one who wanted a child, but it never worked out. In a desperate attempt, Louise slashes Patty in the face with a box cutter and then knocks the gun from Sierra's grasp. The Daltons seize this opportunity, and rush out of the room with Ant. They lock Sierra in the shed with her husband. Next, the four of them get into the car and are about to drive away when Mike suddenly appears and starts shooting at them. With no other option, the family rushes back to the house and locks themselves inside. Mike then goes to the shed, and frees the psycho couple, revealing that he is also their accomplice. Inside the house, Louise finds a landline and proceeds to call for help, but before she can say anything, Sierra severs the connection from outside. Shortly after, the power goes out, leaving the family in an even more dire situation. As Mike continues to shoot at them from outside, the family is forced to retreat. Next, the couple hides the two kids in a closet, instructing them to stay silent until they return. They begin frantically searching for any tools or weapons within the house, and Louise manages to find an acid. Meanwhile, outside, the villains begin to infiltrate the house through various entry points. Mike uses a ladder to climb onto the roof, and eventually makes his way inside. Patty then grabs some tools and forcefully breaks through the front door, while Sierra opens the basement door, and manages to sneak in. Soon after, Patty appears outside the room where Louise is hiding. He tries to break through the door, but she has barricaded it with some furniture. He then uses his full strength to get inside, but Louise attacks him and injures his hand with a tool. By the time Patty finally manages to get inside, she has already escaped, so he and Sierra divert their attention to the kids, and begin looking for them. Meanwhile, Ben is hiding in the attic, waiting for the perfect moment to attack Mike. Shortly after, Patty hears some movements coming from a closet and finds the children, but Louise also appears and sprays drain cleaner in his face, severely burning him. Sierra decides to let them go, and tend to her husband. Moments later, Mike spots Louise with the kids. And he is soon attacked by Ben, who confronts him with a hammer. The two men engage in an intense fight, with Mike eventually gaining the upper hand. But at this critical moment, Louise comes to help and drives a hammer into Mike's head, killing him instantly. In the meantime, Sierra is tending to her husband's burns with water, but he insists that she go, and finish what they started. Meanwhile, the family is upstairs, where they discover the ladder Mike used to climb. They try to escape using it, but Sierra quickly catches up with them. She is about to pull the trigger, but in a split second, Louise strikes Sierra in the head, causing her to fall to her death. Unfortunately, the commotion causes the ladder to fall over. In a desperate attempt to protect his family, Ben leaps off the roof and fractures his leg. Despite the pain, he manages to set the ladder upright, allowing everyone to descend safely. The family then lets out a big sigh of relief, believing they are finally safe. But to their shock, Paddy reappears and takes Agnes hostage. He's devastated to see Sierra dead. Paddy then creepily declares that he'll make Agnes his next wife, since he needs someone to care for him. Just as Paddy tries to shoot the couple, Agnes acts quickly and injects him with a sedative. It turns out that the clever girl was able to steal the injection during the earlier chaos. As a result, Paddy becomes disoriented. This would be the perfect opportunity to finish him off, but the family doesn't want to commit any more murders and prepares to leave. But for the little boy, it's not over yet.
Yes, my boy.
Ant repeatedly smashes his tormentor's head, and screams in rage for the first time in the movie. In the final scene, the family finally drives away from the farmhouse. The poor boy is still shaken by the events, so Agnes gives him the shredded hoppy to help him feel better.